Doctor Who The Reality War was the most disappointing thing since my son. Look, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here, chaps. This was bad. I'm genuinely questioning if Russell T Davies bi-generated at some point in the past couple of years, because there is no way that the man who wrote Wild Blue Yonder and 73 Yards thought, oh yeah, this script for The Reality War is absolutely brilliant! Combining this with a lack of any announcements regarding a new series or special or anything has left me feeling a bit concerned about what's going to happen with the show going forward. So you know what? Screw it. Forget the Who the Hell is Omega video, which I had a near complete script for. I'm going to talk about the current state of Doctor Who, its potential future, and what I think needs to be done when it comes back on TV. Also, sorry for the still images you'll be seeing instead of footage from the show itself. The BBC are very copyright strike happy when it comes to that sort of thing on YouTube, and I don't want to deal with it. Oh yeah, man, spoilers, duh. Now to clarify, I think the past 2 seasons have been fantastic, for the most part, we'll get there. My opinion on most episodes has either been, that was pretty good, or damn, that was great, or in a few cases, absolute cinema, one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever made. The directors have done incredible work, the VFX and camera crews have made the show look better than ever, and the cast have been phenomenal. Unfortunately, all of this talent isn't enough to stop the last 2 finales from arguably being the worst in the 20 years that New Who has been on the air. If I were to talk about how Empire of Death and The Reality War are fundamentally flawed, providing no satisfying conclusions to their respective seasons' overarching stories, and did a huge disservice to the characters, then this video would probably be 7 hours long, and I really haven't got the energy to be that much of a dramatic prick. But there are a couple of things about them that I do want to discuss. Firstly, I've seen a lot of criticism online aimed at more obscure Glupshisso villains being brought back, like Sutekh, the Rani, and Omega, when that honestly isn't an issue. Yeah, they only had 1 or 2 appearances in the classic series, and there's a bit of history that comes with them, but they really aren't any more complex than the Daleks, Cybermen, or the Master. Ancient alien who inspired Egyptian mythology wants to kill everyone. Mad scientist from the Doctor's home planets wants to do unethical experiments. Founder of the Doctor's people wants to escape from the universe he's stuck in and get revenge. A good writer can easily reintroduce these characters without getting bogged down in the lore. This show has done it multiple times before, and let's face it, you can only use what I like to call the holy trinity of Doctor Who monsters so many times before people get sick of seeing them nearly every year. It's probably one of the reasons that the Silurians, Ice Warriors, and Zygons were brought back alongside the Daleks during Moffat's era, not just to please old fans, but to introduce them to a new generation of viewers. Russell clearly wanted to do the same for these 3, which I think is great. The problem is, he did a really bad job at reintroducing them, as well as going about it in the most alienating way for everyone. New viewers aren't going to think much of Omega when he's name-dropped a minute before the penultimate episode ends, gets revealed to be a big CGI skeleton monster, and is defeated with a fucking gun after 4 minutes of screen time. And old fans are going to be confused as hell because why is he a giant fucking skeleton of all things now? What the fuck is going on? It honestly feels like Russell has been more interested in creating hype moments and big twists to get people talking online, rather than focusing on the quality of the finales themselves, which noticeably lack any legitimate tension. The most egregious example of this is in Empire of Death, where Sutekh kills literally everyone except the 2 lead characters and Mel in the first 5 minutes, and then it's all undone and resolved with no consequences 20 minutes later by putting a leash on his collar and dragging him through the time vortex. This would be like bringing back the Rani as the main villain, only to write her out of the story to make way for another classic Who villain by having her get eaten by a giant— oh shit. It's the equivalent of Omega returning and then quickly getting beaten with a gun, for fuck's sake. Look, I'm not saying everybody who died should have stayed dead in Empire of Death, that would be stupid, but there needed to be some kind of consequence or sacrifice for saving the day. Russell knows how to do this, he did it perfectly in 73 Yards, Dot and Bubble, The Well, I mean, shit. This dude wrote a perfect finale with Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways 2 decades ago, so I really don't understand how he managed to drop the ball so badly with this one. The last episode of a season has the potential to make or break a show, since they're the last thing your viewers will watch. If that episode isn't good, then they are very unlikely to come back for more, and I think that might be the situation that both Disney and the BBC have found themselves in, because we haven't heard if they're going to continue the whole Disney Plus deal or when we'll be getting Series 16. All we know for certain is that Ncuti won't be returning, and I'm genuinely gutted about that. I've loved every second of his performance. The 15th Doctor is totally unique from any previous incarnation, while still retaining the character's core traits. Barada Sethu and Millie Gibson have also been nothing short of incredible, but unfortunately, we might not get to see either Belinda or Ruby as companions again because this era is over, and it feels like it barely started. Let me put it into perspective for a moment. Nshute's first full outing as the Doctor was the Church on Ruby Road back in Christmas of 2023, and his final appearance in the Reality War aired on the 31st of May 2025. That's just under a year and a half run, and is less than both Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy's tenures as the Doctor. Ncuti did state in Doctor Who Unleashed that it was always the plan for him to only do 2 seasons, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest otherwise. I won't get too much into all of the leaks or speculation here, but to keep it as brief as possible for those unaware, the Reality War was, allegedly, not supposed to end the way that it did. The Doctor wasn't going to regenerate, and there'd be a big party with Susan and Poppy watching on from the distance, something that would presumably be picked up on in Series 16. I can't say for certain that this is true. I mean, anyone can post a convincing fake leak on the internet, but I am very confident in my belief that Ncuti wasn't planning on leaving the show after Series 15, given that he had said in past interviews he planned to stay on for a long time and was all ready to start filming Series 16. That obviously changed, which led to reshoots and the Reality War becoming what it did. I've seen a lot of people online get very angry at good old RTD over this finale and the uncertainty surrounding the show, because if history's taught us anything, it's that Doctor Who's fanbase will eventually turn against the incumbent showrunner. Now I do get it, I really do. I think a good chunk of the anger and upset is justified, but allow me to play devil's advocate for a minute and say that I don't think it's entirely his fault. In fact, and this might be a bit of a hot take, it's nobody's fault. I wouldn't blame you for thinking that it's Disney's, considering they've been dragging their feet about renewing that previously mentioned deal, but they're ultimately a soulless corporation who only care about money, and if something isn't making them any money, they're not going to continue investing in it. Oh, excuse me, heavens. I think I jumbled my words a bit there, I'm so sorry. What I meant to say was, if Doctor Who wasn't making a profit for Disney, or its streaming data wasn't what they expected, then it makes sense why they're being very reluctant about co-producing more of the show, and you can't exactly blame the BBC for not immediately renewing it because, come on, it's the BBC. They don't have the money to splash on a sci-fi show with tons of special effects and CGI by themselves, especially not now. Yes, Russell was very overconfident about the deal getting renewed, and he didn't account or plan for the possibility of it not happening, and yes, the result of that is a very shit season finale that wasn't planned to be a regeneration story becoming a regeneration story. However, I truly believe that Russell did the best he possibly could in that situation, and it arguably led to the best parts of the Reality War. The Doctor trying to shift time itself to save one person's life is a beautiful, perfect example of what the character is all about, and is a very fitting sacrifice and send-off for the 15th Doctor. And yet, despite working around this last-minute change brilliantly, Russell immediately dug himself into another hole when this happened. Okay, this casting decision is kind of perfect in theory. Billie Piper is a phenomenal actress, whose performance throughout Series 1 is possibly the best in Doctor Who's history, and she only got better with subsequent roles in Secret Diary of a Call Girl, I Hate Susie, and Scoop. I am aware that someone who previously played a companion returning to the show to play the Doctor is a bit of a mindfuck, and does look a tad self-indulgent, given what era of the show said companion originated from, and I do agree to an extent. I think this is the Doctor Who equivalent of casting Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom in the MCU, in the sense that they've got one of the franchise's most iconic actors back as a different character, who is just as beloved as the role they originally played. Like I said though, Billie is amazing, and I have no doubt in my mind that she'll be fantastic as the new Doctor. But I hope to God whatever happens with her isn't written or handled by the current lead writer and executives. I'm sorry chaps, I've been way too fucking nice to Russell so far. If he is going to continue as showrunner, then I already know exactly what's going to happen given his track record over the past couple of years. He'll do a great job at setting up a load of interesting plot threads relating to the 16th Doctor and why she looks like Rose, but he won't give them a satisfying resolution. Then he'll have another mysterious woman show up in every episode to get people speculating about which classic Who character they secretly are, and the finale will be a complete fucking mess with a big twist at the end of part 1, revealing that this boss motherfucker who beat the Meep and Anita mentioned was Eldrad or the Borad or the fucking Absorbaloff. Oh, and I can't forget the shitload of exposition in Unit HQ, the entire universe ending except not really, the big villain getting defeated in the dumbest and most preventable way imaginable, all topped off with a cryptic teaser of the fucking Chumblies returning in Season 4. My guy, You are very talented, you've been one of the best television writers in the business for decades, but please don't do all of that shit for the third time in a row. That's honestly all I can really say about Russell's future as the showrunner and Billy as the 16th Doctor. If she is playing the 16th Doctor, nobody seems to have a clue. At least until we see something beyond 10 seconds of her looking at the camera and saying hi. And that might be a while since, again, there hasn't been an Alright, what the fuck? They're making a cartoon spin-off for babies on CBeebies now. I literally found that out as I was writing this script a couple weeks ago and nearly spat out my drink, because I thought they were talking about the future of the main show, like they were going to replace it with this. Anyway, this is a genius idea and I'm not joking. It's a way to get young kids into the franchise for one, and can teach them about a lot of different subjects like history, science, maths, pretty much anything really, since Doctor Who as a concept can go anywhere and do whatever it wants. What baffles me is why the BBC decided to announce this without giving any kind of update about the actual show itself. Holy shit, guys, all you need to say is, it's coming back for another series, we haven't got anything to say about it just yet, but we'll provide more news soon. Like, that would have been enough. But yeah, CBeebies spin-off, good shout. I'm not going to watch it because I am a grown man and I do not watch shows for babies, I watch shows for adults. Let's see, is there anything else happening with Doctor Who right now? Oh bloody hell, yeah, I actually forgot about that. The war between the land and the sea might be good. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in it. The trailer didn't grab my attention. The premise sounds like every other story featuring the Sea Devils. I just don't really care that much about this one. I hope it's good, I hope people really enjoy it, and I know I will inevitably check it out, but I'll probably wait until all the episodes drop on iPlayer and binge watch it, unless a new trailer comes along and manages to sell me on it. We'll see. Before I wrap up, let's quickly talk about the main show's future again. One thing I've noticed over the past month is the amount of doom posting, with people panicking that we're going to go into a second Wilderness Years, or that Doctor Who's been cancelled and this will never get a new series ever again. And it's all to do with, you guessed it, the fact that Disney hasn't renewed anything. Guys, we're talking about a franchise that's massively popular around the globe here. One that makes the BBC a lot of money from merchandise, DVD, Blu-ray, book, comic, and audio sales. Trust me on this, they are going to do literally everything they can to bring new episodes to TV if there's money to be made, which there is, until they either go out of business or the fucking world ends. Whether that's by continuing to work with Disney, making a deal with another streaming platform, doing it themselves on a reduced budget, or something completely out of left field that nobody will see coming. I mean, for God's sake, the Beeb are still making new episodes of Mrs. Brown's Boys. If they aren't going to let that fecking shite die, then I highly doubt Doctor Who's going anywhere. I will say that whatever happens is probably going to take a few years to get made, as is to be expected with any TV production, but that's not a bad thing. I'd rather they take their time making the best series they can and air it in 2027 or 2028 instead of rushing something for next year. And when it does come back, I think it needs a proper refresh. I'm talking 1970 and 2005 level here. Series 14 really was doing a good job at this, right up until Sutekh showed up. I'm hoping the next time they bring back an old villain, the main focus of the episode is on them, where they're introduced early on in the narrative without any big shocking twist reveal that'll baffle the fuck out of newcomers. And that's the most important thing, I have to stress. Ease the new and more casual audience in. Don't alienate them. The fans are already here, they're pretty much guaranteed to keep watching. Please, don't fuck it up. Well, there we have it. I want to state for the record that I began working on this video right after the reality war dropped because of how much I disliked it, but I held off on making progress for weeks just in case they came out with confirmation of Series 16 or a new partnership while I was making it. I seriously didn't mean to vanish for over a month there. And it wasn't even worth it since all we've had is confirmation of a CBeebies spin-off. God, knowing my bloody luck, I'll upload this and a second afterwards they'll announce a Christmas special starring Billy Piper, David Tennant and Matt Smith, won't they? Ah, fuck it. I'm off to play Mario Kart World and get completely fucked over in the last second of an online race.